Hello, this is Olive Hickmott. I have produced this Freedom to be Exceptional video for visual learners, especially for the Freedom to Learn conference. I've been working for 18 years with hundreds and thousands of exceptional children and a few adults, helping them to learn in a way that isn't really mentioned in school, that's visually. When you say visual learning to school teachers, they think visual teaching because that's what they've been trained to do, teach visually. Multisensory teaching and learning is a given in school, but without training in how creative children learn visually, students can't use their strengths to be exceptional. I'm going to cover 11 secrets that nobody tells you. Have you noticed how children are growing up and coming into education system with more creative and imaginative minds, fueled by the amount of visual stimulation? Have you ever noticed adults who think differently? Maybe you're married to one of them. Well, I'd like you to meet my friend Freddie, who appears in lots of my presentations. What is Freddie good at? When I ask parents what Freddie's good at, sometimes they don't know, which is a great shame because Freddie's probably causing so much chaos that actually they haven't got time to think what he's good at. Then what does Freddie think of his experience? Does he appreciate his strengths? Well, some people do, most people don't. For example, the child who could look at an ordnance survey map and look at those contour lines around mountains and see them poked up in 3D rather than 2D never thought he'd got any particular skill that other people hadn't got. Then there's the teacher's experience. I teach this way and this is what the national curriculum instructs me to do, so I can't do anything else. So then let's have a look at what they are exceptional at and what they do well. This is the first secret to get to the bottom of. Are they really good at Lego and they don't even need the instructions? Are they really creative? Are they great problem solvers? Can they do colour matching so they'll see one colour in the morning and they'll see another colour in the afternoon and they can tell you whether they actually match? Remarkable skill. Are they good at drawing? Are they good at memory so they can remember things? Can they redesign their bedroom in their heads and work out what colour wallpaper and what colour paints and what colour carpet they'd like? And there's loads of exceptional skills in sport. And of course there's the person who is a great jigsaw puzzler. Thomas West produced a book a few years ago called Seeing What Others Cannot See, and that's a remarkable book, and it's exactly that. I tend to see what other people don't see. Let's pop back to early childhood for a minute. When you first see an infant smile at you, you can be sure they've got the mental images of you. If you put on a pink curly wig, they would probably cry, and please don't try that one. A little later in the playground, they can recognise their friends, and let's hope they can recognise their own mum and dad. So what's the underlying skill? The underlying skill behind all these superpowers is visual learning. Now I need to pop into the second secret, into some of the diagnosis of learning differences, because against each diagnosis there is an unrecognised mental imagery symptom. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. So let me pick out a few for you from the whole range of learning differences that can be influenced by mental imagery. Dyslexics have not progressed from phonics to developing the skill to picture words, which is needed and essential for word recognition. Those with ADHD have mental images that run at high-speed sequence from A, B, C, D, E, causing several distractions because you're still talking about A and they're talking about D. Those on the autistic spectrum can withdraw as they seem to be drowning in mental images without any control. Here comes the third secret. Start making friends with your mental imagery. According to NASA, everybody is born as a creative genius, and they have mapped how people lose their creativity as they get older. And Sir Ken Robinson has also been into this area. Teach your child how to make the best friends they can with their mental images. It can be great fun. Every single child I have met in the last 18 years, and there have been thousands, have been creative and have massive strengths in mental imagery. So there you have Tom Daly on the 10-meter board, who has rehearsed his dive thousands and thousands of times in mental imagery. When you go to the hairdressers, do you expect them to know what your hair is going to look like before they start snipping it off? I hope they do. The two little girls who are making a pizza there, they know exactly what that pizza is going to look like by the time it comes out the oven. And then we've got the pole vaulter, which is a really complicated sport and needs a lot of mental rehearsal to get it right and get you over the pole. And then, of course, there's football. If you picture the football hitting the back of the net, you're more likely to score a goal. Useful tip there. The flip side of such powers is that students do not know how best to use them because they're not trained for other things, say words, numbers, and not to get overwhelmed by them. So to make friends with your mental imagery, what you do is watch somebody's eyes. As children grow up, you will notice their mental images time and time again when you look closely, because when they're looking up, they're accessing their mental images. Can I ask you to picture an object that you're very familiar with, for example, an apple? Notice what it looks like. There is no right and wrong to this. There's lots of different varieties. It's your apple. See if you can describe it to other people. Then perhaps picture an elephant and explain what your elephant looks like, which might be grey or might be rainbow striped doing ninja dancing. It's your pictures. They are right. Everyone needs to become comfortable with their own images and not be overwhelmed by them or frightened. Your images can be different. Some people, they can do really good at past events. Some people are really creative and imaginative, and those will be future pictures. Some pictures are just like a colour TV. Some are black and white, some are cartoons, or people just know what things look like. You can check out what the size of things are, what the texture of them is. And if you can't control your mental images, just wait for a moment to the next slide. Neuroscience tells us that all these images hang out in our occipital lobe. Try moving onto a few animals and see if they're still or whether they're moving. Fourth secret coming up. Controlling your mental images. This is absolutely essential for everybody. This is what lack of control of mental images looks like. That poor chap there who's absolutely overloaded, and some people would call that sensory overload, with so much chaos going on in his head. So to get pictures under control, start slow, gentle breathing in and out through your nose. Say in for the count of 4 and out for the count of 4. Breathe right down into your belly. So your belly goes out as you breathe in and your belly goes in as you breathe out. And keep breathing while I talk and explain a little more. There are millions of people who are over-breathing through their mouths worldwide, which is bad for all manner of health challenges. And in the USA, they reckon 70% of people diagnosed with ADHD are mouth breathers. Mouth breathing increases stress, avoids vital nasal functions, and reduces your carbon dioxide, which restricts oxygenation into every cell of your body, including your brain. And if you've been breathing for a few minutes while I've been saying that, notice how it relaxes you and reduces your anxiety. Now I want to teach you how to get grounded. Having created relaxed, gentle breathing, imagine you can ground through your feet or the base of your spine to enable you to feel solidly connected to the earth and natural gravity. With just a little practice, you'll be able to control your mental imagery. You'll be able to select one picture at a time or more at will. Now let's look at mental imagery and how that can help with reading and spelling. Firstly, how to improve your handwriting. Copy down the line that's on the screen there, which says improve your writing. Just notice how long it took you, whether you had to do one letter at a time or whether you were quite quick, and notice the quality of your writing. Now copy down, here is a secret. You can copy down that in exactly the same font that it's written in on the screen. But what I want you to do now is not to look at the paper. So you want to keep your eyes on the screen. Don't look down at the paper and just copy what you see. I can assure you, you're going to be able to do this. If you copy what you see, your writing will speed up because you won't be looking up and down at the paper. If you copy carefully, it will improve your handwriting too. So now we're going to go on to reading 6, 7 and 8 secrets, 3 secrets all on one page. This can be really fun. Now you've got control over your pictures, you can use them for words. First, try to read a paragraph of any information that you've got. Notice how many words you recognise and which you have to break down into phonics and blend back again. The words you recognise are already in your brain's word form area. Congratulations! Every child should realise the words that they're recognising they've already got in their head. Number 7 is now notice where the information you're reading from is. Try raising it up a little higher. Does your reading improve? This isn't magic, but it's a function of your eye position to keep you out of those negative emotions that you naturally access when you're looking down. Find anything you are motivated to read. Just read to yourself with the book propped up or the magazine until you can create some confidence and feel free to ask words you don't understand. Don't read aloud yet. That just creates performance anxiety and should be left till you're really confident. Comprehension. Comprehension is when you're asked questions about a passage you've read. So when you're reading a passage, just create pictures for comprehension later. So you can just run through the pictures and remember the answers. If you're struggling to read, go to spelling, where we have some neat tricks for developing word recognition, and you can come back here later. Spelling, the ninth secret, and probably one of the most important, because quite often people can read well, but they can't spell very well. If you tried something like look, cover, write, do notice the subtle differences that make all the difference in what I am explaining. And today is only a very short resume of our skills. Visualizing words is an essential skill for literacy. Those who are good at literacy picture words in their mind's eye, in their mental images. English has a deep orthographic depth, which means that phonics doesn't work very well. So relax, picture a dog, or a cat if you prefer. Tell the image to keep still, no tail wagging. Write the word dog on a post-it. Hold it in front between the person and ask them to transfer the word onto their dog. So you've now got dog with the word dog written along the side of it. Spell it forwards and then spell it in reverse order. So let's do a bit of practice with Teddy there. Teddy's got words stuck all over him. He's got ear on his ear, nose on his nose, and foot on his foot. And so try practicing with your Teddy and stick some post-its on him. Notice that they are all noun words, so they're all related to objects, which is the place to start because it's much easier. You can move on to non-noun words later. You can use capitals or lowercase, whatever the student likes. Use picture words to start with because this is a step-by-step process and you need to put the word in the picture. You can practice with longer words, always going from building on success and hence growing your confidence. Everyone can do this with just a bit of practice. Then copy down from your mental images to paper without looking at the paper, just like we were doing earlier. Picturing words creates word recognition and fluent reading. You only need phonics for new words. Have fun practicing. And there's Teddy. For those of you like research and neuroscience, you can look at this picture. There's the occipital lobe I mentioned earlier. There are your eyes at the front of your brain over there. Words come into the front of your brain. If you're using phonics, they go up to the top of your brain, and these two parts of your brain negotiate what the word means. And what should happen is that once you've seen a word once or twice, it goes down into this star here, which is called the word form area. So the next time you want to read it, you go through the express pathway straight to the star. And if you want to spell the same word, you can access how it's spelt from the word form area. This is a bit of fun for you, which you may have seen before, so don't ignore it because it looks like a very weird and a lot of gibberish, but you will be able to do it if you sit back, relax, and don't panic. Just relax. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, gently. And I'll read it for you, but you can try it yourself later. I couldn't believe that I could actually understand what I was reading. The phenomenal power of the human mind, according to a research team at Cambridge University. It doesn't matter in what order the letters in the word are. The only important thing is that the first and the last letter be in the right place. The rest can be total mess, and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Such a condition is appropriately called typoglycemia. Amazing, hey? Yeah, and you always thought spelling was important. Thanks to Cambridge University for giving us another perspective on how we actually process information. And let's take a quick trip into maths, because maths can terrify people. But again, to do maths successfully, you need to visualize numbers. So instead of that poor lad at the beginning there, who is overwhelmed by numbers and it's all total gibberish, you need to get relaxed, get grounded, as that little chap in the middle there is, and sort out these numbers so that you can actually visualize numbers. And the 12th and last secret for you that I'm going to tell you about is times tables, because times tables are so useful. And if you've been struggling with times tables and remembering them, firstly, imagine a triangle, put a 7 and a 2 at the bottom and a 14 at the top. That means 7 times 2 is 14 and 2 times 7 is 14. So the great news is you've only got to learn half of them. The next thing is 14 divided by 2 is 7 and 14 divided by 7 is 2. So lo and behold, you can start division. Isn't that easy? Now, what else can you use mental imagery for? There's dozens of secrets you know about that you can use your mental imagery for, and you may not have realized that's how you're doing something. Memory, revision. Schools quite often teach you how to do mind maps, but have they ever taught you to take a picture in your brain of the mind map? So a good trick is to stick them up on the wall at home above eye level, and then you'll find it easier to remember them. All sorts of academic skills, building design, shop window design, rearranging your bedroom, remembering dance routines, remembering your way home. These are all visual skills that are so easy to learn for highly visual creative people. So is there anything you could do to help? I believe there is a really big issue here that we need to address. It's a child's right to know about the power of visual learning and be helped to learn in a way that works best for their highly visual skills and highly visual brains. Multisensory teaching and learning is a given in education, but visual learning isn't talked about. Every child is different, and schools teach them as if they're all the same. There are thousands of highly talented children who struggle in school for no fault of their own, I've been teaching parents and their kids for these simple skills for 18 years. This is home education because this isn't being taught on the school curriculum. I was dyslexic for 50 years until I learnt to spell and read, and now I enjoy what's left of my dyslexia and ADHD. This is how to contact me if you don't mind me telling you. There's my website, which has got resources and training, courses and masterclasses on there. There's lots of mini videos on YouTube that I've done during lockdown on my channel, Olive Hickmott. And there is my blog, which is on the side of my website called olivehickmott.co.uk, and you can find me through Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. There's a picture of my 3 books, and the elephant in the classroom is my latest baby. So you can learn the skills for you and your child through coaching from my network of practitioners, and you can come and learn the skills for yourself and to teach other people. In fact, I think more than 50% of the people I have taught have been parents. And I really would recommend it. It's a fascinating area. I've given you a short introduction to now, and you'll find many more interesting things to hold your attention. Thank you for listening.